Okay, let's play some Grit. Two things to note: this is not a how to play guide. This is not about rules. This is about testing some of the rules that have changed since the last gameplay video. And then also, there's a weird glare at the top. Not sure what that's about, but we're just gonna move right on through it. So on the left side we have Rush, Melody, and Vincent. On the right side we have Katrina, Hilda, and Amber. We're gonna start by the left side going first. The second player right now, the only advantage they get is that they get one extra stamina. So you'll see at the top, Katrina, Hilda, and Amber have 6 stamina, while the left side only has 5. So to start off, Rush is going to play Smash, dealing 4 damage. This is actually going to be 2 damage though, because of the rules right now being that armor doesn't exist anymore. You just have to block whatever damage is coming at you, and if you don't, you take a stamina card. So in this case, this is like the one time I forget that rule, so Katrina overblocks for the entire 4 damage. Then Rush gets to play a Rage enhancement into their Tenacity, which allows them to get +1 damage. Rush's on attack activates, placing the top card of their deck into their Tenacity face down, dealing an additional damage, so a total of 5 damage coming in. Katrina takes the hit with an Intervene on the top, no ambush trigger, and Rush at the end of the turn is just going to rest. Rage says when you declare a rest, you put the top card of your deck into your Tenacity face down. Switch into Vincent, draw 4, and say go to the other side. So Katrina has a lot of cards in hand because one, she has a 6 hand size for being a calm hero, and then from taking that stamina, she's able to get an extra card in hand as well. She's going to start by playing a Poison Trap, which says draw a card, then flip it face down. So that way, when it gets flipped face up, it can trigger its ambush ability. So now Amber is able to basically cycle a card and set that up when she wants to flip it. She then is going to play the enhancement Thoughtful, which allows her to draw 1 card and place 1 on top. This functions well with her ability that says guess the cost of the top card of your deck. If you get it right, you can flip a card in your Tenacity. We guessed 3 because we placed it there with Thoughtful, allowing us to flip the Poison Trap face up. It triggers its ambush, which says exhaust a non-hero enemy card. So we exhaust Rush, or a Rage, excuse me, to prevent that additional strength. She then is going to play Intervene, which is a 2-cost enhancement that says discard 1 of your Tenacity cards and place the top card of your Tenacity, or your deck, into your Tenacity. So we use that same 3-cost all-out card that we used from Thoughtful to place it into our Tenacity instead of that lowly defense card. Katrina is then going to swing for 1 damage, and we have the ability to exhaust Smash here to prevent the 1 damage, almost like taxing us a card on the left side. Katrina then rests, readies all of her card, and then who is going in? It is Amber. Nope, Hilda, just gotcha. Draw 5 to end the turn, say go for Vincent. So Vincent has a pretty bad Tenacity, but Vincent's able to take a real advantage of that. He's got 2 abilities that says exhaust 1 of your Tenacity cards to gain a strength for the turn, and you can discard 1 of your Tenacity cards to choose additional options on your cards. So we see us start to use the once per turn action to exhaust a Tenacity card to gain a strength. So he's at 3 strength right now and 4 in hand. And now we're going back and forth. Do we play an enhancement to set up for a few turns, or do we just place a big strong attack? And we're going to play Combination. This card is way too good. Vincent's going to activate a second ability to discard a card from his Tenacity to choose 2 options. Combination says choose 1, deal 3 damage, or then deal 3 damage. In this case, it's only 1 damage. And then the second option is to deal 4 damage. So it's a deal 1, deal 1, deal 4, which is insane. This card definitely needs to get nerfed. It's a lot of attacks and value. So we're looking at deal 1, deal 1, deal 4. For the first 2 attacks, we're going to exhaust 2 of our cards. And then for the last attack, we're not going to try and block the 4, and we'll just take the stamina hit, adding it to our hand. Vincent then gets to attack for 3 damage. Remember, he uses activate main once per turn, or action, once per turn to gain 1 additional strength. And now we need to figure out if we want to defend this. In our Tenacity, we can defend it, but flipping that many cards seems unnecessary. So the card we got out of Stamina, Endure, prevents 3 damage for the cost of 1. So we're able to prevent it pretty much entirely here, but that card says also to flip it face down. So a little bit of a trade-off there. And I think I accidentally thought this was 4 damage because of Rage. So I did one too many cards here. We play a reposition, which costs 1 to flip one of our Tenacity cards, and we flip the Endure that just went into our Tenacity, and then we exhaust the Endure to prevent that last 4th phantom damage that I forgot about. Rage is not actually active. It's got a passive ability that says, while ready, your active hero gets +1 strength, and it wasn't ready, so a little flub on my part while I'm bouncing back and forth between these. So then we figure out what our next hand is for Melody, who has a hand size of 7, which is very good, and we put some of our defense cards to the front to see if we want to play any of those in the next coming turn. So now Hilda has only a hand size of 2, but that's totally, or 2 cards in hand, and 5 cards in Tenacity. So getting close to an ultimate attack here, because we can only make an ultimate when we have 6 cards in our Tenacity. So actually kind of a good thing though, because we can play Shield Bash, which we'll see what we do. First we're gonna start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I think I accidentally do an ultimate attack here. Whoopsies, for 1 damage. Wow, I'm goofing up all over the place. Here it is, my own game, and I'm just messing it all up. I don't know what it is. In this case, we could have made a better ultimate attack if we followed the rules correctly. But we play Shield Bash, which costs 3 normally. However, you can flip the top card of your Tenacity or your Stamina face up to -2 cost to that. So it only costs 1 for Hilda. And then on the top of our Stamina is a Snare Trap, which says Ambush. Your opponent discards 1 random card from their hand. So the ambush will trigger, and because we trigger the ambush, it'll get discarded. And now Shield Bash is coming in for 4 damage, but because of the balance changes, it's only 2 damage. So Melody can block on board by just exhausting some cards from Tenacity, but instead she's going to play Fancy Footwork, which says choose one, prevent, exhaust, or ready one of your Tenacity cards, or prevent 2 damage. So we choose the prevent 2 damage option for 1, and then Shield Bash finally says place this card into your Tenacity face down. We can then activate Hilda's ability, which says place the top card of your Stamina into your Tenacity face down, and place 1 card from your hand into your Tenacity, or into your Stamina, excuse me. Essentially allowing her to get past some of these flip face up cards to do them multiple times per turn. She's then going to swing for 2 damage, and the Melody chooses to take it to refill a little bit in her hand and not remove any cards or any value from her Tenacity, because that Tenacity is getting pretty chunky there. Sends in Amber after the rest action, readies all of her cards, draws 3, and we see there are no defense cards in hand, so whatever the defense we're doing is going to be on board for Amber. Now, for Melody, she's got a lot of cards in hand. We check the face down because we can activate Melody's ability here to exhaust her and an enhancement, and then we get to flip one of our cards face up, and it's Crush, which is a 3 damage attack. It's not 3 damage attack, it's a 3 cost attack. So the Tenacity for the left side, for all the active cards, is quite strong. It's 3 from Crush, 2 from Combination, and 1 from Fancy Footwork, which is a lot of damage that can potentially come in. We then play a Song of Iron, I believe, which allows us to, all of our defense cards cost 1 less. Or maybe it's a Song of Strength. Looks like a Song of Strength. Oh my gosh, I can't see it on this tiny little screen that I have. Song of Iron. All of our defense cards cost 1 less. Then we're going to make an ultimate attack here and discard 2 of the cards, both of them active and face up, meaning we'll gain both of the costs into damage there for a total of 5 damage. Now Amber doesn't really have much to do, so it's a big hit, so we'll just take it there. She flips over the All Out that was placed into her Stamina by Hilda the previous turn, giving Amber now 4 cards in hand. So on the left side, we still have some cards we can play, so we're going to play Melodious, which says you can exhaust any number of enhancements to reduce its cost by 1. And what we do here is we just play the Melodious, exhaust our Song of Iron to ready our active hero, but we don't get any value out of it because Melody can't necessarily do anything anymore. So what we really did is we just exhausted our enhancement, which allows us to bypass the forced ability for this specific enhancement, which says at the end of the turn, exhaust this and place and discard one of your Tenacity cards. It's basically like an upkeep cost at the end of the turn. So by playing Melodious, we get another 2 cost into our Tenacity, and we also bypass that downside of the Song of Iron. I know I said that the Song of Iron like does all these things and cool stuff, but I definitely forget about its while ready, its passive effect immediately. Which I think we'll see in just a moment here. So Amber is on a little bit on the back foot. She has 2 face down cards. We check them because we're the Amber player, and Amber has a cool on attack or after basic attack ability. So we first start by swinging with Amber with a basic attack for 4 damage. Rush is just going to take it. Because Rush is in a little bit of a lead, he's allowed to take more stamina cards to fill his hand and get ready for the counter attack. With Amber's reaction after she makes a basic attack, we can flip any one of our Tenacity cards. So she flips a Poison Trap, which on flipped face up triggers the Ambush ability, allowing her to exhaust a non-hero card. Amber also gets to play skill cards that are purple for free. So she plays 2 traps here, each which say draw a card and then put them face down. Although they're face down, this still fills up our Tenacity however we want it to, and sets up any more flip ambush triggers as well. So we've essentially cycled those traps, allowing us to get more visibility into what our hand can be. We then get rid of place a defense card on top by using Thoughtful's action ability, which says draw 1, place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. Then we use Intervene to place that card into our Tenacity by discarding a card. So I realized that I wanted to do that after the fact, so I did a little take backsies there. So we discard one of our face down cards and then place the top card of our deck into our Tenacity, which is Shield Bash. So it's a really strong 3-cost card that we then immediately use an ultimate attack for. And we're going to discard 2 of our face down cards, which don't add to our total. And instead we're just going to have All Out and Shield Bash, which is a total of 6 damage from our ultimate attack, which is huge. So actually we have a lot of options on Rush's side to prevent this. It takes quite a few bit of resources, but we can also think about playing defense cards to increase our Tenacity. But we say, screw it, we'll just take the damage. Not really worth it to fight over, especially if we have some other cards in hand we want to play. So Rush takes the hit, no problem. And then because Amber got to draw a bunch of cards, we are able to then play All Out, which is a 4 damage attack. Rush says no to that one and is going to play Fancy Footwork, which should be free because of the Song of Iron, but I think I pay 1 on accident anyways. So I choose the option to prevent 2 damage, then prevent 1 more by exhausting it, and then exhausting the smash that is right within that glare up there. So we prevent a total of 4 damage. All Out then says we can flip the top card of our stamina face up to prevent it from flipping itself face down. We get another ambush trigger for Last Stand, which honestly at this point probably wasn't a good ambush to trigger out of stamina, because it says after you take a hit, you get to flip one of your Tenacity cards and then you flip it face down, which it's a pretty weak card in general, so that one needs to be probably updated as well. But we do get a free card in our stamina. I think, however, because of the way that stamina or Tenacity cards work, it's worth it to be able to take an extra hit rather than block an extra damage. And so on Rush's side, there is just an insane amount. The Smash and the Rage on the top of the screen are exhausted, so they won't count towards our Tenacity total for our ultimate attack damage. But the Rush side just has an insane amount of damage that it can pump out right now. It's got access to ultimate attacks, and so we're trying to figure out what to do here. Because we're going to go for game, the Song of Iron, which reduces the cost of our defense cards, isn't so relevant anymore. So we get rid of 3 cards from our Tenacity, Melodious, Song of Iron, and Fancy Footwork, for a total of 6 damage coming in because they're all active and ready. We take a look at our hand, we can reposition, but that doesn't really do much. We can exhaust and get rid of a ton of things. Unfortunately, on the Katrina side, a lot of cards need to be kind of given for this. And we take a look at the other side, they have five cards in hand, 3 cards in their Tenacity that can't really do anything. And so Katrina needs to make the option needs to take the chance on either to take the hit and think she can block the next one, or block this one and hope that the next attacks aren't, and that she can reliably take the next attacks. But even if she blocks this attack and gets rid of or exhausts all of her Tenacity cards, it kind of puts her in a bad spot on her following turn because she's kind of playing defense right now. So she decides to exhaust 4 cards to prevent the damage, and then plays an extra reposition card to flip and unflip the Thoughtful. and then exhaust the reposition that she just played to prevent the total 5th damage there. And remember, we can't flip and exhaust cards to prevent damage. Each of those during an attack can only be done once per card. So Thoughtful here can't be exhausted and flipped. Neither can any of the cards. Rush then makes a basic attack, placing the top card of his deck into his Tenacity face down, giving now Katrina just to 0 stamina, making Katrina go to 0 stamina. And then luckily for Katrina's side, Rush does not have any other damage in hand. He is going to play a Song of Strength, making all attacks cost 1 less to play to a minimum of 1 cost, and then is going to rest into, I would say Vincent is more aggressive. Yeah, Vincent's more aggressive than Melody in this case because he's got innate attack damage. We're not going to keep any of the cards that Rush had left over, and we're going to draw up to the hand size of 4. Then it goes to Katrina's turn, and she's not doing well. Katrina, Hilda, and Amber don't have a lot of great ways to ready their Tenacity cards, so being exhausted right now means that there's no real big ultimate attacks that can come in. And because the left side Vincent has 2 stamina cards left, and then you have to do an additional hit after that, it kind of puts Katrina in a weird spot where she wants to maintain a strong Tenacity to make sure she can block attacks, but also needs to get damage in really bad. So we start by playing Intervene, which is kind of a roundabout way to ready cards. We're going to activate Intervene, get rid of a 1-cost reposition, question mark? We're going to hold. We're going to activate Thoughtful first so we can set up the top card of our deck. Draw 1. Action, once per turn, exhaust this card. Draw 1 card, then place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck. We can activate Katrina's ability, but there's nothing to flip, so no reason to do that. So we set up the top card of our deck with the Thoughtful action, then activate Intervene to discard one of our low cards, and we can then place in the card that we placed on top of our deck, which is Change of Fate. It's a 3-cost card, and we just are going to ultimate attack for 1 card for a total of 3 damage. Now, Vincent has a few ways to deal with this. Looks like he's got no defense cards in hand, no defense cards in hand, but can exhaust quite a few cards to deal with this. However, not in a real big place to get beat up, especially because Katrina only has 2 cards left. So he chooses to take the hit, add a card to hand, and now he's got a little bit more gas to work with on his next turn. Unfortunate that I think Katrina just did 1 too many triggers, specifically Last Stand, that I think would have put her in a much better position. She then swings for 1, which is a super easy parry with the fancy footwork, which is just which just exhausts to prevent 1 damage. And now, when we have 5 cards in Tenacity, we're going to just play this Last Stand, which once again doesn't really do much anymore. That is just a 6th card in our Tenacity for defensive capabilities. We're gonna rotate or rest, and then I think we need a way to win. And I think that Hilda doesn't really have the damage to do that, but Amber does. And because our Tenacity is so high, we have a lot of defensive capabilities on board, and if we happen to draw a defense card, Amber can then do a lot to flip our cards back up on after a basic attack, and has an innate strength of 4, meaning our basic attack is really large. So we also see that Amber draws 2 really strong defensive cards, being Endure, which is a really big deal. So Amber has a lot of defensive potential, but I think Vincent just has too much right now. Looking back at Vincent's side, we decide to exhaust Smash, which is once again in the glare, to get +1 strength for the turn, and then discard one of our Tenacity cards to be able to choose additional options on orange cards that we play. So he starts by playing Wolfish Charm, which says that he gets to exhaust a face-up Tenacity card, and then also gets to draw 2 cards. And then we get to do Combination again, which because Vincent gets to choose both options again, it's going to deal 1 damage, then deal 1 damage, then deal 4 damage. So we're able to block the first 2 hits pretty easily, and then we have to block 4 damage on this last one for this 3rd attack that comes in with Combination, which is just insane. That's way too much damage. We think about if we want to use on board anything, remember, because we can flip one of these cards with Amber, we can kind of get them back. And some of these 1-cost cards that we've already exhausted, we don't really need to take. So there's a few options here, and if we play the Endure from hand, because our Tenacity is full, it's going to be discarded. So will prevent 3 damage with that, and I believe that's it. So we flipped a card face down in our Tenacity, then prevented 3 with Endure, and because our Tenacity is full, that Endure gets discarded because it's full. Then, oh goodness, Vincent plays Crush, and remember all these attacks cost 1 less because of the Song of Strength that's sitting in Vincent's Tenacity for a total of 5 damage. So we prevent 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 by getting rid of all of our resources basically. And then there's the last hit, a giant ultimate attack ending the game for I think like 9 damage, and that is Amber and the squad. So Vincent, Rush, and Melody take it. They got some really strong cards I think on their side, and I do also think that in part some of the cards that are on the Katrina, Hilda, Amber side are a little bit weaker, specifically Hilda's cards and potentially Katrina's ability. I think both sides have their quirks, but I think coming down to it, getting down to within 1 or so stamina of each other means we had a good game, and there were a lot of options leading up to this that I think both sides could have taken advantage of, that I think just leave a lot of room for the game to play out much differently. So yeah, that is, I think, a great showcase of the new rules. Remember, some of the new rules we went over were Tenacity is a grand total of 6 cards. You can only make 1 ultimate per turn. You can discard as many of those cards as you want. Enhancements in Tenacity. We've removed armor entirely. We've removed the armory deck entirely. It's funny, actually, that both those things were removed. And what we're left with is a very snappy, very quick, very concise, and simple game that we're left with here. So really happy to see a lot of this working out really well, actually. Like I said, I think what comes now is the balancing of the game and the cards specifically that I kind of pointed out, rather than the rules itself, because the game feels real good. It feels like a lot of overhead and kind of player, not fatigue, I guess playing fatigue. A lot of overhead, I guess is the best word. Is taken out of the game, and now you can really just focus on playing and making decisions that feel impactful, not only for your current turn or your current situation, but also the next turn. It feels like you're always kind of naturally planning ahead, which is super awesome. So thank you so much for watching. This has been a joy. I love doing these commentaries, and I love playing this game on my own. I'm going to do it regardless of if I record it or not. So thank you so much for watching. Wherever you are, whenever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day, night, morning, weekend, vacation, work day, whatever it is, wherever it is. And I hope to see you in whatever the next video is. So see ya.